Hola y bienvenidos al Marketdown Podcast. Yo soy Nick Cummings. Conmigo es Diego Gisante. Un momento. There we go. Sorry, had the SAP button on. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Marketdown Podcast. With me today is James Gisante, and we will be talking about Full Gear, which we have just watched, and it was awesome. We are going to start with the main event, Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega. Hangman Adam Page finally fulfilling his promise, his destiny, and becoming the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I have never been happier with wrestling, James. I at least since Daniel Bryan won at WrestleMania 30. I was very emotional after this win.
This is one of those moments that I think wrestling fans are going to remember for a very long time. And I can't remember the last time in American wrestling a story has been so beautifully handled. And I'm grateful as a wrestling fan to be watching. And like as a Kenny Omega fan, it's a little bittersweet, but overall it's such a beautiful moment that all four of these men came together. And I'm including the Bucks in this.
Oh, you have to.
They came together to tell a story 2 years ago, and it paid off tonight. And it was beautiful. And the future is bright. There are so many possibilities. But instead of focusing on what comes next, let's just focus on this moment, which is the coronation of Hangman Adam Page. And wow. I could not tell you a moment of this match before it, during it, after it, that wasn't incredible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so much like subtlety to this match, too, that we're going to get into in a few minutes. But like, the bigger spots were great. Everything was Don getting involved. Hangman's intro. We'll start there. Let's go all the way to the top. Hangman's introduction. When he was coming out with that vignette there, where you had the Dark Order running in the tunnel, which
I love that bit. I love that bit.
It was
so cute.
It was a very nice, subtle touch, and then him riding the horse down the street and all of his past failures coming up on the side, which I thought were great. And I want to quickly shout out AEW. They put out a very good article a couple of days ago running down Hangman and Kenny's past since even before the start of AEW, like everything that has come to this moment. So, and that was a very good read. And I know Chad very much appreciated it since he's a little bit newer to AEW. And then so you have that, and he comes out. There was Don there, and Don getting his comeuppance was great. And getting the shit kicked out of him finally. And then you had like I said, more subtle moments like Kenny ended up being the first person outside of Coda, but the first person in AEW to kick out of the One-Winged Angel.
That was such a good twist, because I know everyone has been feverishly panicking about whether or not Hangman would kick out of the One-Winged Angel. And I was prepared for it, but I didn't know how I felt about it. So the way they subverted the expectations on that, we love that phrase, but the way they subverted our expectations was beautiful. And it worked for both guys. It's like, who should kick out of the One-Winged Angel? The guy who made the move, or made the move what it is. And instead of Hangman having to kick out of it, Hangman was just like, nope, I'm just not going to get hit by that fucking move. And I love that.
That was way better. And I thought JR sold it perfectly, where he was like, nobody hits it like Kenny Omega. Yep. I thought that was a great way to put it, because
I agree.
I've always felt that when somebody else hits their opponent's finisher, it's never as impactful, because my kayfabe mental thing with finishers is it doesn't matter what it is, because you can even take a move like Jericho's Judas effect, which is just a spinning back elbow. But the finisher is whatever it is, that person has completely perfected that move.
Agreed.
And when somebody steals it, they don't know the subtle intricacies of it.
Completely agree.
And that's why it's their finisher,
Absolutely.
So even like Dante Martin's like a double springboard moonsault. Guys can hit that. Like I'm sure Ray Phoenix can hit that in his sleep, but Dante Martin has perfected it. Ergo, it is his finisher. So
absolutely,
I very much like that. Kenny was the first person to kick out of it. The Bucks coming out at the end.
I love that.
Perfect storytelling.
I love that. So to go back even further past AEW, Hangman has only ever held one championship in his career. And that championship was the Ring of Honor 6-man tag title. And he held it with the Young Bucks. Yep. They were so beautifully named the Hung Bucks.
It was a great name.
It was a great name. And to see, like I mentioned earlier, to see all four of these guys come together. And we have to talk, if we're going to talk about this match, we have to talk about what happened on Rampage, which was Hangman confronting the Bucks like he said he would, and saying to them, I'm sorry because I was an ass when we were friends. That's on me. But if you get involved, I will ruin you. And I loved every aspect of that because it's Hangman saying, I was wrong and I'm trying to work on me, but I am not going to accept your wrongdoings because I was wrong. I love that. I love that. I love that. And it played beautifully into this match with Matt and Nick both refusing to get involved in the match, and even going as far with Matt giving him that little nod like, yeah, do it. It's your time. And oh God, like especially if you're a BTE follower, if you're a BTE viewer, you know that there were attempts made in the past between Hangman and the Bucks to really get their stuff together and to be friendly again. And everyone kept trying to make a move to make things better, but there's always something that got in the way. So to see that love was still there, oh God. And I mean, not to bury what came after, which was that beautiful moment with the Dark Order, which, oh God, we all knew it would happen when Hangman would win, but my God, was it just as good as we wanted it to be.
I thought the best part of that was Alex offered him a beer and he took it and threw it away.
Yep, and he doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. It was a full circle moment where he didn't need it and they all hugged. I thought that was great.
Yep.
To your point about BTE, I want to shout out another YouTuber. Outside Interference has been working on a Hangman series. I watched this afternoon. It's on the third part, excuse me, and it's been covering all of Hangman stuff between both BTE and Dynamite and a little bit before with the Bullet Club and everything. And it is it's phenomenal. So shout out to him. But B, it really shows Hangman's entire story. And watching it, and it's not even done yet. There's a whole nother part coming. They're only at the part where the Dark Order. They're at the fuck Hangman part of BTE, and just even watching up to that point, it's just like you see how far Hangman has come, and you see why the fans are so invested in this guy. Like I said earlier, like I was emotional. He hit the one-winged angel. And I yelled, pin him at the top of my lungs.
I got to tell you, I went into this match not 100% sure Hangman was going to win. I thought he would win, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I am the biggest, I am a gigantic Kenny Omega fan. So I would have been happy no matter the outcome, but even I found myself so emotionally invested. I needed Hangman to win by the end. I needed him to win, just like he needed to win, just like everybody else wanted and needed him to win. It felt like he was winning, not just for himself, but for all of us. And again, I know how corny that sounds, but I can't remember the last time a wrestler was able to really represent an audience as well as Hangman has.
I think the only one, like I said earlier, is Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. It's the only thing I could think of.
Like, I know there are comparisons always because of the beer, but if you look at Austin in the Attitude Era, it's one of those things that Austin represented the working class and all these people who are just fed up and, like they wanted to flip off their boss and they wanted to, be the hero of that story. But in 2021, society has changed a little bit and millennials are, we're an
millennial
anxious
cowboy.
bunch. Yeah. And they get that and they make it work. And it never feel like for a bit, and it needed to for a bit, Hangman like really wallowed in that self-pity, but this is the end of that story. This is a Hangman now who's confident. This is a Hangman now who has a vision, and he accomplished all that. That's a beautiful story. That is a beautiful story.
Yeah, I think we touched upon that a couple episodes ago where we're comparing him to Austin and Hogan in the 80s and stuff like that. You could see that confidence on Rampage on Friday where he stepped to Adam Cole and just stared him down.
Oh God, how good is that match going to be one day?
Oh,
right.
Yeah, but he stared Cole down and was like, I need to talk to the Bucks. And like didn't even blink.
Yep.
So you could see that confidence when he was there. He was all the way there. And him winning was the culmination of everything so far, I think, that AEW has done. I've said this, I think, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. I was all over the place tonight. Somebody on Reddit, I'm stealing this from them, and I should have went and got their username, but I'm sorry to that person. Somebody on Reddit said, this is the first Avengers movie of AEW. And it's 100% right.
Absolutely.
It is. It's the culmination of almost, Jinx. Yeah, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Never buy you a Coke. It's the culmination of everything they've done for almost the last 3 years now. And even a little bit before that, as you've said multiple times on this show, the Bucks and Kenny have seen something in Hangman for years now. Mm-hmm. And they have built this the entire time. And it has been worth every second of it.
And it's so hard not to look forward because there's just so much to look forward to. But my God, like, I don't even want to bury, like, the match itself was great.
Like, it was so good.
Like, there were spots in there, like Kenny's top rope powerbomb flip. That was awesome. That was an incredible spot. Hangman hitting the double buckshot lariat, like, again, awesome. Like, oh man, there was some good stuff in this match. And like comparing it to their Full Gear match last year, which again, how full circle is that? We're 1 year removed from their last match. And I liked their last match, but you could tell they were holding back. It did not feel like they were holding back at all here. They both gave it everything they had, and it was a good, strong, awesome match.
One last thing before we move on, I want to get in the subtlety of Hangman winning at Full Gear, because for us BTE fans, Full Gear was a bit involving Page, where the Bucks and the rest of the Elite and Bullet Club were joking that he was out of shape and he couldn't show up in Full Gear, meaning his wrestling gear.
Yep.
So, and they named it after him, and they turned it into, more of a steampunk gears and gadgets type of deal. But this is technically Hangman's pay-per-view.
I love it. And as great as an Easter egg as that is, somebody pointed this out on Reddit. And again, I'm sorry, I too did not hold on to this. Kenny has had since 2019 on his Twitter banner. It was the All Out poster or the All Out banner. And if you look at it from left to right, it's Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Hangman. And those are our first 4 AEW champions in order. And
saw that too. That was really cool.
Right? Like, there's just been so much thought put into this. Like, even like going back to Rampage, Hangman wore the same shirt that he wore the first time he confronted the Bucks back, like, God knows how long, when things were bad. Like, there was just all the little details that went into this bravo AEW, bravo Elite, and man, thank you.
Yeah, I know that report came out semi recently where the Bucks and Kenny are like EVPs in name only now, more or less.
Yeah.
But even with Tony booking everything, I think they've had a lot of say, or probably almost all the say in this story, because this has been their brainchild forever.
Oh, absolutely.
And it is absolutely paid off.
Absolutely.
Beyond, I think, any of our wildest dreams.
And that's the beauty of when you have a story fit the character, where they told the story that Kenny needed to tell. They told the story that Hangman needed to tell. They told the story that the Bucks needed to tell. And even though this is obviously the culmination, I don't know it's the end. I don't know that it's the end, you know? Like, I think there's probably going to be a little bit of a gap before they interact again, but I don't think this is the last time we see these four men interacting on screen.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it's the end. I mean, you have so much to tell there because you have the Bucks not interfering on Kenny's behalf as they usually do. So how does Kenny feel about that? How do the Bucks now feel about Kenny? You have Adam Cole in the mix. Everyone is speculating Kevin Owens / Steen ends up in AEW, and there's the whole Mount Rushmore thing that could happen. Like, there is so much potential with this story where, you know, it's the end of the very long, but the end of the first chapter. It's the end of Return of the King. And we still got
which ending?
No, ending? Not Return of the King. Excuse me. It's the end of Fellowship, and we still got 2 towers and Return of the King.
Yep.
And more.
And I've been saying this for a very long time. AEW has earned my trust.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been a fan, but they earned my trust that as long as they want to tell this story, I will be watching it, and I know that the payoff will be worth it.
Yeah. Tony Khan is the best booker I've seen in a long time. The man knows what he's doing. And
absolutely.
And like I said before, I know they don't have as much power, but I trust the Bucks. I trust Kenny, Cody. I don't know. Well, we'll get to Cody, but I have enough faith in him too. These guys know what the fuck they're doing, and I'm looking forward to everything else that's going to come after this. It's the dawn of a new age. And
you're really just getting these Lord of the Rings references out.
I guess, but I'm literally this excited.
And you should be. You absolutely should be.
Yeah, like I said before, this is the most emotional wrestling has made me in a long time. But I think we could wax poetic about this match the entire night. There were other matches on this card, so let's get to a few of them.
And they were all good. I love this card from beginning to end. I just like I don't think there was a match I didn't like.
Yeah, so let's get to a few of them. We'll go back to the top of the card. I want to quickly shout out Shida winning in the buy-in. I'm a very happy man. Big Shida.
Holy Shida.
And shout out the Minneapolis crowd. A, they were great tonight, and B, they were very on point with all of the Eddie stuff, and they gave good Eddie chant for Vicky Guerrero when she came out. So shout out to them.
Loved it.
But we'll get to the first match on the card here, which was MJF against Darby. I think this shut up a lot of people who thought both of them weren't that good in the ring.
Absolutely.
Which was
absolutely
a ridiculous statement, I thought, but they wrestled a great match. Of course, that schmuck MJF wins like that. And I was a little leery. I was like, oh, they're going to open with this. And then that happened. And I was like, oh, yeah, they definitely should have fucking opened with this.
It's the match that made the most sense to me to open with because, you know, it's a grudge match. You know, it's not a title match that should be high on the card. Darby is always a fast-paced guy that the crowd loves to see. So it'll get the crowd hyped. And with the finish, it added that air of unpredictability that you don't know what's going to happen tonight. And I love the match. I thought Darby did great. I thought MJF, who I'm typically not the biggest fan of in the ring, I thought he did great. And I think more than just how the match played out, you know, moves wise, both guys showed their character. Like they highlighted who they are. And I would like to point out that was my first victory of the night in terms of the predictions. And
you got the pre-show right.
I got the pre-show right too. Fine. All right. So I'm 2-0 there.
I don't remember what I even predicted. I forgot.
It was such a hard card to predict, but like MJF now has beaten all three other pillars of AEW. And I think 100% he's going to be in line for a title shot. And I think that's justifiable. And, you know, I think Darby, I said this in the last episode, I think Darby and MJF are going to be career rivals. So to have MJF get the first win, it's just going to make Darby fans even hungrier for Darby to get that win against MJF eventually, you know? So I'm excited for it. And, you know, it was nice to have the little Sting run in with the rest of Pinnacle with Shawn Spears and Wardlow, which I guess like FTR just doesn't give a shit anymore. But
well, from what Shivani said later in the Cody match, it seems like they've sold the Pinnacle to Andrade for a while.
Yeah, like they specifically said 2 weeks, and I did the math. It's definitely been longer.
Yeah,
I
don't know what's going on there, but
whatever. But either way, a good showcase of AEW's future. And it's not the only time tonight that they highlighted the future of AEW. So great match to start the night, and more to come hopefully from these two.
Yeah, I will always love the token Tony Schiavone. It's Sting every time it happens. Yep. I don't care how hard they force it. Give it to me.
Oh, absolutely. They know what they're doing. They know it's a meme now.
Yeah, I was laughing for most of the match because MJF kept messing with his tights, and I was like, "What is he doing?" He had the ring in there the whole time, and I don't know if he did that on purpose or it was falling out or whatever it was, but it was pretty funny when it actually happened. I was like, that's what it was.
Yep.
This guy.
AEW has been really good, intentionally or not, about like subtly like showing something that's going to come later, like on Dynamite with Don just constantly getting in the way.
I thought, yeah.
Yep. So whether it was planned or not, I think it added to it, and I'm really anticipating MJF eventually losing that diamond ring and him just fucking spiraling. And it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great.
You know what? I'm just randomly thinking of this. That could coincide with Wardlow eventually.
I think so too. I think so too.
That would make a lot of sense because then it wouldn't have to revolve around a title.
And it happened already in the second battle royal for it, where Wardlow was one of the last men in, and like he has that little moment with MJF, and then Orange Cassidy gets involved. But
yeah,
like they're doing a good job of that, and
they're slow building like Batista Triple H-ing that.
Absolutely,
which I've been enjoying.
But they're building a lot around MJF. You can tell that he, like, I know like the pillars are already canon, but he is definitely a pillar that they're putting a strong foundation around.
Yeah, because I mean he's going to be their biggest heel from now until the end of time.
Yeah, I can't imagine how he couldn't be. Like he fits that role so well.
I genuinely don't understand how you can turn that man face.
Oh God, please don't. I mean, how can I cheer a guy named Maxwell Jacob Friedman? Like they knew they know who he is.
He's feuding with his own parents, for fuck's sake. Like
God.
To the point where TMZ picked up on it and thought it was real. It's still real to them, damn it. There's a lot going with this match. MJF definitely not winning clean, easily protects Darby, which is good. Yeah. And you go from there. I mean, I don't know. I doubt they'll do it again, but in the near future.
Yeah, that the sequel won't be for a while. But my God, that son of a bitch won with the moves that he said he would.
Yep. Oh, it made it so much better.
Like at the moment I was like, oh, I hate you. Oh, I hate you. But mission accomplished.
I just randomly thought of something I wanted to mention for the Hangman Kenny match. The sign in the front was, what would Coda think?
Oh my God. I saw that and I was like, oh God, please no. Please, I don't need to be emotional about something that isn't even happening.
So I didn't initially see it during Kenny's entrance because I was trying to put something up on the Instagram. Because the one thing I don't like about AEW pay-per-views is they don't let anything breathe.
They really don't.
And everything's so quick to the point where, like, I don't even have time to get up and, like, hit the head or grab a drink or something.
Yep.
So I was, like, not watching Kenny's entrance, and I missed it. The first time I saw it was when Kenny eye poked Hangman, and in the back was the sign, what would Coda thing. I was like, that is perfect comedic timing. I thought it was an accident. But that was a good sign. All right, sorry, not to get off track there. I just wanted to make sure I brought it up. All right, well, let's move on here to the AEW Tag Team Championship match, the Lucha Brothers against FTR. This was obviously a very good match. And B, I thought the ending was incredibly intriguing with the wrong man getting pinned due to FTR's own shenanigans with the mask.
So I liked it. It bothered me a little bit because it's very easy to distinguish between the two members of FTR. Who is it? Cash and what?
I'll say, you're still doing the which one's Dash, which one's Dawson, aren't you?
No, like I know which one's which. It's just their names when they switched from NXT to AEW, like they're too similar. But like one man clearly has a gigantic tattoo on his shoulder, and one man clearly doesn't. And like, it's silly, and I'm not going to complain about it because either way, like, it just means we're going to get another match between these guys, and they're all great. So, hell yeah. But it was a little silly to me, but shenanigans in wrestling, it felt like an old school dusty finish. And that is exactly what FTR is all about, you know, that old school stuff. So I did like it. And man, as someone who watched both of their matches, like the first match and now this rematch, comparing it to the match FTR had with formerly known as Kalisto and Aerostar, it's like, man, the Lucha Bros are just a step above.
Samurai Del
Sol. But just the Lucha Bros are just a step above in terms of talent, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, Rey Fenix is a top 5 wrestler in the world, and I will hear no argument to the contrary.
You're not going to get any from me.
Yeah, he's that good. And obviously Penta's great, and then, you know, they're one of the best tag teams in the world, FTR is. So them putting on, you know, a 4-star match is expected. You know, I would literally expect nothing less out of them. It was good. I like the shenanigan finish. I will gladly toss up the mask thing to a fog of war type of deal with the ref. You know, there's a lot going on. I don't remember who was reffing that match, but, you know, they missed it, and it happens, especially because I think, if I remember correctly, the angle that they were at, it was like a roll up, and I can see, you know, why the ref wouldn't distinguish one white guy with a mask from another white guy with a mask. You know, white people all look the same. So I get it.
There's our first edit of the night. That's going to be fun. Danny would be proud.
We're okay then. No, but in all seriousness with that, like, you know, you just see, you know, a green mask and one white bent over body, you just got to assume it's the legal man and call the pin. So I really like it. I thought it was a very clever way to protect FTR, have the Lucha Brothers win, and keep the feud going. You know, especially since they don't do WWE-esque shenanigans where there's DQs or this run-ins or this or that, the other thing. So I thought it was very clever, and I liked it a lot.
Well, I mean, as silly as it was, I didn't dislike it. And again, the match itself was still very strong. I mean, no surprise to anybody. So if this is how we get part 3, let's just get to part 3. I'm in.
Yeah, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Very good. All right, moving on here. We had the end of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Bryan Danielson defeated a very game Miro. I thought in real time this match was a little weaker, but going back on it, I actually really liked this match a lot.
I love the match while I was watching it, and even thinking back to it, I still have a lot of love for it. It was a slow match, unfortunately, because we both know both of those guys can hit that next gear. But it was a methodical match. It was, and imagine this match in WWE. They would have so played up Bryan Danielson as the underdog against the monster Miro, but that's not what happened here. We had two tough guys. We had the monster that is Miro versus the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, and you could tell these guys wrestled a stiff match. They were laying into each other with the kicks, with the hits. At one point, they acknowledged that Bryan, when he rolled out of the ring, he put his feet and he put his legs up above his chest. And I think it was because he legitimately had the wind knocked out of him and he was trying to catch his breath. Either that was incredible selling, which again, no shock there, or these guys wrestled a strong style type of match, and I was all for it. And we are continuing down the road that is Miro has kryptonite and it's his neck. And it's beautiful storytelling. And eventually Miro is going to figure out a way to cover up that neck. And that's going to be how we get a Miro world title. I 100% believe that.
Yeah. I don't know whose idea that was, but I love that storytelling. I love that, like you said, his kryptonite is his neck. And Bryan hit that DDT and was able to lock in the submission. And it was brilliant. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Miro ended up passing out, right? He didn't tap.
I thought he tapped, but the truth is, I don't know. It was a very confusing ending. It was a very confusing ending. And
we know Bryan won by submission. We were just
And once again, we see Bryan winning with a different move than he's used prior, which has just been a treat in AEW. I don't think he's had any win be the same as another. Like maybe he's had two with the label lock, maybe, but even that I don't think is actually true.
No, commentary has made a point saying he has not won the match same way twice in AEW.
So I think the right man won here. I know that there is disappointment both in the crowd and online that Bryan won and that it should have been Miro. I think Miro getting his first title shot should be a bigger moment. And I think, unfortunately for Miro, the bigger match right now is Hangman versus Bryan Danielson, which we're getting now. We're getting that match. We're getting the anxious millennial cowboy versus the American Dragon. And I am nervous for everybody involved. It's going to be an emotional journey, but I'm very happy that we're going to get that match. And I can only imagine Miro suffering two major losses so close to one another is going to bring in a certain flexible wife.
Yeah, that would make sense. Well, he can't go home, so I guess she has to come to him.
Exactly.
I think, first of all, I think Moxley would have won this match originally. I think he would have gone on to face Hangman because I think Moxley was turning heel, and obviously he's going through what he's going through. And once again, we wish him the best of luck.
Of course.
But now in this position, even though I think I picked Miro, but I was so back and forth on it during that show that I think now like Bryan makes sense because now Bryan can go on and face Hangman. And assuming Hangman wins, having Bryan lose his first match to the new AEW champion makes a lot of sense.
I agree.
And I know I'm going a little bit further here. And I also think
it's hype.
Yeah. I think Miro will eventually get his title shot, and I can definitely see Miro getting his title shot against Hangman.
Yeah, I do too down the road. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I've seen a lot of people think Brian is going to be turning heel against Hangman. I don't think it's necessary. Like, I don't think Brian, like, I know that he acted like a dick with Eddie, but it's because Brian is trying to get the best out of his opponents. I don't think it's because he's actually just trying to like heal it up. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Hangman. And first of all, let me also just say I am now, I think, 4 for 4 in terms of the predictions. So I was just on fire.
I'm going to go back and watch a YouTube video at some point, either tonight or tomorrow, and I will put out everyone's record.
Moving forward, we definitely got to make that a competition.
Yes.
But anyway,
we should be able to put a water bet on or something.
But Brian made sense to me because I knew that match was going to happen obviously before the world title match. And if you have Miro win it, you're just broadcasting that Hangman's going to win.
Yeah, that's fair.
Brian at least leaves a little bit like, could go either way, kinda. Because everyone's expecting the Brian Kenny rematch to happen sooner than later. So yeah, I think everything played out the way it needed to in a hard-hitting match that I think when people look back on are going to like it a little bit more than I think the crowd reacted and people reacted to online.
Yeah, like you said, it was slow, a little plodding, but it was definitely hard-hitting and it was definitely good. And that's a match I actually should probably go back and rewatch.
Definitely.
I really think I should. So
definitely.
But I think they did a good job of setting up what they needed to set up past that. And I think to your point, I don't think Brian's a heel, but I also don't necessarily think he's a face either. I think he's just a guy there to fight. And Absolutely. He doesn't matter if he's fighting faces or heels, he's just there to kick ass. And that's it.
I think he is the perfect example of what a tweener should be. He's not going to cheat, but he doesn't care who he fights. You know, he doesn't do anything heelish. He's going to hit you hard. And it doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a bad guy.
His gimmick right now is ultimate competitor. He'll go in, he'll shake your hand and fight you with every ounce he has.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which actually kind of rolls into the next match that was on the card, which was Jurassic Express and Christian Cage against the Super Click.
My God, what a car wreck that match was in the best way possible.
My God, what a story they told in that match with Jungle Boy. That's where I was going with this because Jungle Boy at the beginning did not have, I don't know, the heart or the cojones to really, put an end to some, to these guys with the chair. Initially, he didn't want to use the chair, and then he didn't want to hit the concerto in the ring. And then eventually, by the end of it, he was finally like, all right, if I'm going to have to put these guys down to win this match, I'm going to have to put these guys down.
Yeah, let me be the one to do it. Yeah. Let me be the one to do it. I love that.
He became a man in that match.
That's it. Jungle Boy became Jungle Jack right there, and I loved it.
I'm not even kidding. I think Big Swole tweeted that out verbatim.
I love that match. I think the right team won.
Yeah.
This might actually be the first one that I got wrong because I think I predicted the Super Click.
Hand up, I got it wrong. I thought they were going to use their weapons and win, but
I think
they did it. They did it so well. I'm happy I was wrong.
I think everybody looked great. The Super Click looked great. Jungle Boy told a story from beginning to end. We already know he can go. So now we see a different side of him. Fantastic. Christian showing like, my God, he was moving like he was in his 20s. That was great. That dive he did in the crowd onto Cutler and Nakazawa, and I think it was Nick Jackson, just incredible. And Luchasaurus, my God.
What did he hit off the ramp? Was it an SSP? Like, he hit some crazy off the ramp.
Yeah, he did a flip. It was either a shooting star press or it was a moonsault. I think it was a shooting star press because I think he was looking at them. But regardless, Jungle Boy's face was my face when he did that.
I tweeted out, I need that GIF.
Right?
I need that GIF.
I couldn't believe it. And I know what he's capable of. I know how good he is. But I think we're so used to seeing him be just the run-in guy lately and the hot tag that I forgot that he could just have these amazing spots on his own, and he did. And oh god, it was just so good. The thumbtacks to Jungle Boy in Jungle Boy's mouth. The thumbtack.
That spot is always rough, man. The thumbtacks. I don't know how the hell they do that without like killing somebody.
I was watching with my dad, and my dad was like convinced that they were gimmicked, and I was like, just watch, because somebody's gonna land on those friggin' thumbtacks and they're gonna bleed. And I don't think anybody did land on the thumbtacks, but there was still blood throughout that match. Yeah. And I just, oh god,
no, surprisingly, the only thumbtack spot was the thumbtacks in the mouth. Like they didn't like
and the knee pad.
Oh, the knee pads. Yeah, I was like, I thought after Luchasaurus got hit with the BTE trigger, he was checking his neck.
Yeah,
because they hit him in the neck. I was like, oh man, I hope he's good, because that's not a good place to start bleeding.
Oh, I gotta mention, how awesome was that Panama Sunrise
off the scaffolding?
Yeah. Oh my god. I love Adam Cole, and you know, I'm not quite ready for like the Elite Civil War that's most likely coming, but I am very ready for Adam Cole to become a world champion sooner than later. I don't know I need him to be the guy to take it off Hangman, probably not, but I need main event Adam Cole very soon.
Yeah, the entirety of the internet is convinced MJF is going to take it off of Hangman, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, you know, we'll see what Tony wants to do. And Tony we trust at this point.
Absolutely.
All right, after that we had a most peculiar tag team match: Cody Rhodes and Pac against Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. This was an interesting match because you had a bunch of very, very good wrestlers and Cody. No, I'm kidding.
Damn.
No, I'm kidding. I think Pac, Andrade, and Malachi are in the upper echelon of wrestlers, and I think Cody's like the slight tier below them.
That's fair.
But Cody's still really fucking good. Yeah. So it was a joke, but with a grain of truth. But this match was also, I thought, a very good story. It was four guys, two teams, where obviously they're not tag teams, and there was a bit of friction between both of them. A lot of odd tags in and out. I was a little disappointed with Zelina's boys not being on the same page the entire time, but that's neither here nor there.
I loved it. I loved it.
It was
keep
great.
Going, but I have so much I want to say, but keep going.
Yeah, no, I very much enjoyed the entire dynamic of the whole thing. So I very much enjoyed the match. Pac winning made sense to me, and I didn't have super high expectations for this match, but I thought they met my expectations, where it was just a very well wrestled match and a very good story told.
I know I got this wrong in the predictions, and it's because I initially was like, yeah, it's total, like the bad guys should win, but it's Cody, so of course they're gonna win. And then I changed it at the last second, and I regret that because I was right.
The fact you remember all these things we did at like 2:30 in the morning that night is very impressive.
It's wrestling, man. What else am I thinking about? But I loved all of it because this is a match that feels very thrown together, but all four men have a very dynamic history that goes back years in WWE. You have Cody and Pac, or Pac, I don't know. You have Cody and formerly known as Adrian Neville.
It's Pac because it's two. Yeah,
I've heard both.
Because Tupac kind of throws everything off. I think it's Pac because I think it's the opposite of Tupac.
Yep, you just contradicted yourself like twice there because you don't know what it is. You know, but whatever.
I've been celebrating Hangman's win.
But they have history because they go back to that SummerSlam tag team match with Steven and Mel.
Oh, geez, I forgot about that. Yep. When he was Stardust and shit.
Yep. And they reference the fact that they aren't big fans of each other, and it goes back to that match. You have Malachi Black and Andrade, who, yes, they have this common denominator, which is Alina. But even if you take that away, Malachi was the person who took the NXT title off of Andrade.
True.
And then I think and on top of that, Pac, yeah,
Neville.
He was Malachi Black's first match in WWE in NXT UK, and he beat him.
He was still Tommy End.
He was still Tommy End. He didn't become Aleister Black at that point.
That was sick. That was my first experience to him. And
likewise.
Awesome.
Likewise. And so I loved that all four men had tension, because there should be tension. Like, other than the fact that these men just happen to be feuding like 2v2, there is no real reason that these guys should be friends. And I think Malachi and Andrade showing those cracks was perfect, because if they ever have a rematch, we know it's going to be great. Cody and Pac feuding, sure, we know that Cody hates English people, so why not?
Leave Anthony Ogogo out of this.
So I don't know whether or not the House of Black is going to become a thing. If it does, I don't necessarily need Andrade to be a part of it. But this definitely, especially with the outcome, not just with the good guys winning, but with FTR coming out for the beatdown, that was just so random and just so quick.
It wasn't even both of them, right? Wasn't it just the one of them? And Tully?
Tully came out too, and I didn't get it, but it feels like more is to come, which I don't know if is a good thing or a bad thing, but at least Malachi and Andrade are getting featured prominently, and Pac too.
Yeah, I'm here for that. I know there was an interview, I think it came out today with Malachi, where he was saying, I have a lot of plans for the House of Black. Even some of them I haven't told Tony yet. Like, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So I don't want to get too high of expectations for that, but as I trust everybody else in AEW, I trust Malachi. The man is mad creative.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
I'm here to see what he's going to do with it. And I don't know if Andrade is going to be in it. It doesn't really, it feels like more of a alliance of convenience. I thought
agree.
Both sides were an alliance of convenience rather than Andrade joining the House of Black. So I don't know how much longer this is going to go. You're right. They did leave the door open for more shit, but I don't necessarily know if I want it. I'm not really good for it.
I already think that this feud went way longer than it should have.
Yeah.
Like, this is what, the fourth match involving Cody and Malachi?
Yeah, they already had three-parter
3 singles.
Now this is a tag.
So whatever. Whatever.
I will say this, the continuation of the Cody Rhodes heel face dynamic continues to fascinate me.
He keeps denying that the heel turn is coming, and I actually believe him, but it feels so pigheaded. Like, it feels so stubborn. This isn't a Cena thing where I understand the argument for not turning Cena heel because of what he represented to those children. And let me be the first. I actually really like Cody. I really do. But he, one, works so much better as a heel sometimes. And two, it feels like he's just swimming upstream against what should be the inevitable here.
I said weeks ago I thought he was going to turn. I said weeks ago they had to turn him heel.
He just doesn't. He's saying he doesn't want to, and he's not going to. And I don't know how much of that's him just saying, guys, wait and see, versus no, he's actually legit. He doesn't want to turn heel, and he's not going to let it happen.
I'm almost curious if this is like a super meta, like delusional heel thing where he thinks he's the face and he's not, but he's still going to keep doing everything like he's a face and just get heat for it.
I don't know.
That would be really meta, like beyond Bo Dallas level of delusional face.
I kind of just think like Cody is becoming Triple H a little bit, which is super ironic.
Well, he keeps teasing the pedigree.
Not even just the pedigree. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's just the man thinks. I don't know. I don't want to rag on Cody because I really do like Cody, but I don't know. I think he needs to either commit to a heel turn or do something different because this ain't working.
I don't want to say it's not working. It's just weird. It's like in such a weird, it's a weird dynamic, which is why I find it so intriguing.
Like the announcers are even acknowledging the boos for Cody.
Yeah.
And like JR out here saying like, oh, it's trendy to boo Cody. Like, that's not it. Just like, like as someone who cheered Cena for years when everyone booed him, as someone who cheered Roman for years when everyone booed him, I always understood why people booed him. Like, I always got it. And I understand why people are booing Cody here. So it's...
You know what's weird? I almost don't. Like, Cena and Roman, I got. They were forced down fans' throats for years as the top guy, the top face. And they would go over people like crazy. And Cody, yeah, Cody's probably won some matches he probably shouldn't have. Excuse me. But he's not being shoved down our throats as the top guy. He's eliminated himself from even being the AEW champion for now. I really hope he holds himself to that. He even brought that up in a promo recently. He's eliminated himself from that. He not necessarily has won all of his feuds. He loses when he has to, for the most part. Like, I don't understand what has changed from the beginning of AEW to now. He's pretty much been the same guy. And at a certain point, the fans either got tired of that or just, I don't know, just got fed up with him winning. Like, he's still really good in kayfabe. Like, I don't understand the turn.
I think it's how grand he presents himself.
But that's kind of the bit, isn't it?
Oh, no, of course. But I think that bit has played out, and I think people are tired of that. Like, I don't remember, like, for someone who can't get involved in the title picture, a lot of his feuds that should not be as important as they are treated very importantly. Like, Cody versus fucking QT Marshall was treated like a main program on the show. And take away all the mistakes that were made with that feud.
Yeah.
It went on for too long.
I'm also gonna include the Agogo thing in that too.
Absolutely.
That didn't go well.
The weigh-in was awful. And I can't blame anybody for that. Shit happens. But it's just...
You can just watch the commercials for his reality show to see how bad that went.
Absolutely.
Like, somebody just get them an electronic scale, for fuck's sake. Big Show doesn't know how to do an official weigh-in. And I feel bad for him, but like, that wasn't his fault.
I like, whose idea was it to not run that ahead of time? But anyway,
Tony Khan just recently said in an interview that UFC had their bubble right next to Daly's place. And all he had to do was call Dana White, who he said he recently became friends with, like, hey, can I borrow one of your weighing guys real fucking quick? I just need somebody who knows how to work a scale, or just go get a doctor. Like, what the hell did Big Show have to do with it?
It was a mess. But
or weigh them beforehand to know, so Big Show knows where the hell to put the damn things. Like, Jesus Cristo, that was bad.
Compare Cody again to Cena. His feud with Malachi Black feels very much like Cena's feud with the debuting Kevin Owens on the main roster. Yeah, Malachi got the first win. Kevin got the first win. But who ends up winning the feud? Cena, Cody. And it feels very formulaic at this point.
That's a good shout. Like,
so,
he comes out, he lays him out, he beats him.
Yep.
I mean, I think Malachi beat Cody a bit easier than Owens beat Cena, but
definitely.
Yeah, no, that's a really good shout though. Wow, I'm like running through this in my head now.
Yep.
Damn.
And like, I want to see Malachi doing different things, but I'm still just stuck with him versus Cody because it feels like Cody didn't get his definitive heroic moment, you know?
Yeah.
But time will tell. Time will tell. I feel like we are spending as much time on this as their actual feud has been.
Probably. I will say the most disappointed I was in this match was that Arn Anderson did not spinebuster Andrade's lackey.
Absolutely. But he did do the little Glock.
Yep, that's
thing.
That's going to be his bit
it.
now, and
Absolutely.
I'm totally cool with that.
Absolutely.
Let's roll with it. All right, so let's get off of this because, as you said, we have spent more time on it than their entire feud combined. Another championship match for the AEW Women's Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. against Tay Conti. I spent half of this match trying to figure out which character Tay Conti's face paint reminded me of. It was driving me fucking crazy. I thought it was Horizon Zero Dawn. It wasn't. Either way, this was still a really good match.
God, it was a good match. We've all been big fans of Tay's rise from unfortunate NXT reject to AEW pure talent.
And we know you've been a big, you've been
got
a big
rep, got a rep, and
you guys in the peaches.
Jesus, I wanted her to win, but the right thing is Britt retaining. It is the right thing, and I think Tay is 100% going to be a future women's champion. Mm-hmm. It's just now Britt is the hot hand, and I wasn't crazy about the finish. I wasn't crazy about all the interference. I wasn't crazy about everything, but it protects Tay and just further cements Britt as the heel champion. But
yeah, Tay has low-key been built as one of the most legitimate women on that roster. Like, record-wise, I think this is only like her 5th loss.
I think so too.
I'm not sure if it was all-time or for the year. Like whenever what they showed it, I imagine it was probably for the year, but it's only her 5th loss is insane in AEW. So, excuse me, she's been built. A lot of it has been on Dark and Elevation. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because she was the Dark Queen
for a very long time.
But yeah, she was ruling AEW Dark for a really long time, and they were building her, and I was very excited to finally see her get her shot. And I thought she did a great job in this match. I agree the interference was a bit of shenanigans. I was a little disappointed we didn't get Anna.
I was gonna bring that up. Like, we know she was there because she came out later for Hangman. At the end,
yeah. Like,
and I'm pretty sure Tay only got in this situation with Britt because she came out to help Anna. So Anna. I don't know. That was a little weird. Anna.
Yeah, no, I just whatever. That is what it is, and that's how they booked it. But I still thought Tay acquitted herself more than well. She kicked out of the curb stomp off of the steps, and then the curb stomp in the ring. And
yep.
Right? Did she kick out of that? Or no? Yeah, she kicked out. She rolled out of it actually. So that was amazing. And then eventually there was a shenanigans and she ended up tapping. That was another match where it started a little slow, a little plodding.
Yeah.
And I was just like, come on. Like, I know there's more out of these girls that we could get. And it ramped up and it got a lot better. I fell short of calling it a war.
Yeah.
But at the end
it was a battle. It was a battle.
Yes, a battle is a great word for it. With the end of them, both of them laid out, sprawled out on the apron, just laying there. A Rebel and Jamie Hayter coming in to help Britt up. I thought that was a perfect shot of what that match was.
Definitely.
So, and I agree with you. I think the right one won. Britt isn't ready to lose the title yet, and I think Tay could eventually come around and win. Could beat her, theoretically. I think a lot of people think Thunder Rosa's going to, which I guess would make sense.
Yeah.
But Tay is most definitely a future women's champion.
Absolutely.
And I'm very happy for that because she's a lot of fun in more ways than one.
Oh my God. Okay. Second edit of the night.
Nah, this is live, yo. It's semi-live. All right, let's move on before I get canceled. CM Punk, Eddie Kingston. Speaking of wars.
Oh my God.
I love this match. This match had so much in it. Not just hard-hitting, good wrestling. I thought JR called it best at the end. I was trying to think of what to say, and he just goes, "That was a goddamn fist fight." And I was like, "Yeah, that's it. That's the exact it.
Yep.
It was a goddamn fist fight from before the bell all the way to the end."
Absolutely. It was bloody, it was violent, it was vicious, it was angry, and it was everything it needed to be. I think Eddie looked great. I think Punk is evolving, which is what we needed from his AEW character. We needed a little bit of evolution, and
it is a mystery. Evolution.
Folks, we're recording this at 2:09 a.m. and he's hitting me with an evolution pun, and I am tired. As good as it was, I hate you. Yeah, no, I think I loved the bit with Punk doing Cena's moves of doom.
Oh, so good. Especially after the promo.
Good. Yep. It's Punk is starting to realize I am becoming all those things I used to fight against. Or he's become all those things he used to fight against.
He's the New York Yankees.
I mean, they are the best. But he's not the underdog anymore. He's the legend. He's the legend who's coming back and is potentially taking someone's spot, and fans are happy to see him. Although I guess they weren't that happy to see him tonight. That man was getting booed,
which is impressive.
It is very impressive. And I think it speaks so much to how much fans care about Eddie Kingston at this point. And bravo to AEW for being able to cultivate that. Bravo to Eddie because he deserves it. And I don't think this feud is over, nor should it be. And
I'll take two more. You're gonna give Cody and Malachi fucking 3 matches. I'll take 2 more.
Yep. And beautifully put. And I think we're gonna see the Punk heel turn. I know a lot of people are predicting the Bryan heel turn, but I really think we're getting the Punk heel turn. I mean, hey, maybe we get both, but I think Punk is turning heel, and I think, oh God, there is so much potential there.
Yeah, Punk heel turn. Is it because Punk? I almost feel works better as a heel because I think he can just say whatever the fuck he wants. Like I know he says whatever he wants anyway, but when he's heel, he can really go for the jugular.
I think he's such a charming guy that when he's a babyface, you can't help but like him. But when he's a heel, my God, you want to hate him.
Yeah. I thought the wildest part about the promo the other day was on Rampage. Punk came into it as a face. Eddie came in as a heel. And in the middle of that promo, they switched.
Yep.
Punk became a heel and Eddie became a face. Because Punk became the smug old dude, who said the kid couldn't hang, to borrow a line from him. And Eddie came in and was like, with the, who the fuck do you think you are type of shit,
Yep.
Full-blown Yonkers, like, fuck you shit. And it was perfect. And the same thing happened in this match. Like you said, you shouted the 5 moves of doom. And I was also, I put in a rule like halfway through that match to drink every time somebody flips the other one off because there were so many middle fingers in that match. Good Lord. But they were warranted. Like that match was full of hate and vitriol. And I thought at the end, which I really liked, Punk went to shake Eddie's hand, and Eddie obviously told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And as Eddie was leaving, Excalibur sold it where he was like, Eddie Kingston did not necessarily come into this fight to win. He came into this fight to beat up CM Punk, and that is what he did. And more so, he earned CM Punk's respect.
Absolutely.
Which is still a big win, even if Eddie didn't want it. So I thought they did a very good job of selling Eddie there, even in the loss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. And like we both said, I think this feud is going to continue. And I think we're going to definitely see the full-blown Eddie's going to be the face, Punk is going to be the heel. And I don't know if we're going to get heel Mox at this point. Like, I can't imagine anyone's going to boo him coming back from rehab.
Yeah.
So a heel Punk versus a babyface Moxley is going to be great.
That would work very well because they could definitely play into the I'm the reason you're in the spot you are now type of deal with the, technically the Shield when they came up were like CM Punk's guys. Like, I know that was never like explicitly said, but everyone knew.
And let's be real, Mox isn't going to hold back. He's not going to care if people take shots at him going to rehab. And straight edge heel Punk going against straight out of rehab Moxley, it's going to make so many people uncomfortable, and it's going to be great.
Was Punk going to bring back the mask?
Oh, God. Oh, God. He made it work.
He did.
He made it work.
He definitely did. All right. So get to the last match we have to talk about, which was the Inner Circle against the Men of the Year and American Top Team in a Minneapolis street fight. You said car wreck before. This was definitely a car wreck.
My God.
I like this. This was one of those matches that was just meant to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And it was very entertaining. Obviously Lambert got his comeuppance. A lot of big spots, a lot of dudes killing each other. Sammy doing that swanton off the ladder, which was great. Amazing.
Great.
I thought the UFC guys, or the UFC guys, MMA guys, whatever. I thought they acquitted themselves very well, which is cool. And the one thing I didn't like about this match, we go back to the Falls Count Anywhere match, which was technically tornado tag rules, right?
Yeah.
This match started with people tagging in and out. It was like a very regulated tag match, despite the fact it was a street fight. And then it just evolved, and I'm not even sure anybody was legal anymore. And AEW does the little things very well, where if you go back to that Falls Count Anywhere match, there were multiple referees around the ring following the action wherever it went so that they could count all of the pinfalls and everything. And on this one, I was just like, well, are we doing the legal guy? Are we not doing the legal guy? It's one of those things where I'm holding AEW at such a high standard that I wish I knew the answer.
I think.
Oh, sorry. But
no, go ahead.
It was still a really fun match, and I enjoyed the ever living hell out of it.
It comes down to, what do you value more? Would you rather an entertaining match where you turn your brain off a little bit, or would you rather a match that follows the rules that should be in place?
Porque no los dos.
And that's where I fall. I don't mind some leeway, because it's wrestling. It's meant to be wild.
But AEW could easily just be like, oh, it's tornado rules, and just let it roll, as opposed to, them starting with a traditional tag team type setup, and then, somebody jumps to the ring and then all fucking hell breaks loose, and then there's no rules anymore.
Realistically, though, this has been a problem of AEW since its inception. They have been very lax with rules in matches. So many times a match should be a disqualification and it isn't, because they're so adamant about not having disqualifications.
Referee's discretion.
Right. And the other being that tag matches, even straight up regular 2v2 tag matches that are meant to be by the book, just always tend to feel like free-for-alls.
Yeah.
It happened again, even with the 2 tag matches of the night with
the Lucha Brothers and
Lucha
FTR,
Bros.
And the Cody and Bach versus Malachi and Andrade matches.
At some point, they just devolve, and the ref is just like, well, okay, it's happening. This is AEW.
That's a very indie thing, though, right? Like, that used to happen a lot in Ring of Honor. I feel like it happened a bit in New Japan. And they do technically have the 10-second count, which is only so enforced. But
it isn't enforced.
Yeah, but at least in those matches, there's a legal man. You know, like in this one, it started with the legal man, and then it went out the window. Again, this is me just nitpicking.
Yeah. But it's like you said, this was a fun match. It was entertaining. It was a car wreck, and it did exactly what it was supposed to. So to dissect this match wouldn't be fair because it wasn't trying to be anything more than it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I thought there were a lot of good high spots. I thought the Bronx was once again well presented. As we said on our episode the other day, we're claiming Eddie Kingston, even though he's from Yonkers. As someone who currently lives in Woodlawn and could literally spit into Yonkers, we're claiming Eddie.
I'll allow it.
But yeah, Proud and Powerful did great. I thought once again, AEW got their money's worth out of another trash can after the Falls Count Anywhere match. They really got their money's worth out of those trash cans tonight.
How great was Jake Hager running around with a bunt cake tin
and the toaster
and the fucking toaster? Like, creativity points all around.
Tony Schiavone going, I'm an expert on bun cakes, was so good. It was after JR line, and give me a second to look it up. It was amazing.
And let's not forget the Baron spot, how great that was.
Oh yeah, the Iron Claw. That was I knew when I saw them announce him, I was like, something's gonna happen. And then this match, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, he's definitely hitting the Iron Claw on somebody.
Loved it.
As I currently just waste time so I can find this. Oh, yeah, I did. Jared, not the damn bun cake. As Hager whacked somebody over the head with it. Yeah, between that and the brave little toaster, he was really, really getting into the Minneapolis street fight.
It was awesome.
I like the hockey stick. I liked even better. Somebody handed Santana the hockey stick and he held it the wrong way. Because Lord knows that man has never held a hockey stick in his life.
It was just great.
Yeah. But like we said, it was supposed to be an entertaining car wreck. It was an entertaining car wreck. We got everything we want out of it. I hope Sammy's okay after that ladder spot into the table.
I mean, I know that Jeff Hardy gets compared to Darby Allin all the time, but my God, is Sammy really channeling that lately? He's just throwing his body at opponents, and it is fantastic.
He even jumped. He just free fall. He looked like an Olympic diver. He just and the flip. I was like, how the fuck did he do that? It was unbelievable. So
he wasn't flying; he was falling with style.
Well, bravo! That was a fantastic reference.
Why, thank you.
All right, and now we get to end this episode with a bit of news, which came right after this match. The first bit of news, which was teased in the pre-show, was a member of Chaos coming to AEW to tag with Orange Cassidy, excuse me, and that would be Ishii.
Another one I called. Like, I think our other Nick also called it, but Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, is coming to AEW. And guys, I gotta tell you, I know everyone's excited for Okada or hopeful for Okada. Who wouldn't be? I am. But let me tell you,
America.
Ishii, there are so many dream matches we can have. And please, for the love of God, give me Ishii versus Miro. Give me Ishii versus Bryan Danielson. Give me Ishii versus basically everyone in AEW, and I will be a happy, happy little toaster.
I'm not gonna lie. I know who Ishii is, but I did not know his nickname was Stone Pitbull, and it now makes a lot of sense why Orange said in the pre-show that he was going to have to call some of his dogs.
Oh God, it was so.
There you go.
Guys, if you haven't watched Ishii matches, please watch them. Nick, go watch an Ishii match. It's worth it.
I'm sure I've seen a couple, but I just it's just not registering in my head. You got any recommendations off the top of your head?
He has a fantastic he has a fantastic match with Kenny Omega. They have a series of great matches, but in the tournament to crown the first ever IWGP United States champion, they came to the finals. It was Ishii and Kenny, and that match was incredible. That's where I went from being a fan of Ishii to a mega fan. So everybody go watch that match. And I'm going to make a bold statement right here. Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, they might have higher highs. I'd say Ishii is a more consistent wrestler than either of those men.
Wow. All right.
Yep. Bold statement of the day, but here we go.
Put it on TikTok. Let's go.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Eric. All right. So AEW decided to just slip that in there real quick and then immediately went to another big announcement with Tony Schiavone on the stage. Jay Lethal is All Elite, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Lethal, a.k.a. my favorite promo of all time against Ric Flair, a.k.a. Black Machismo, is now in All Elite Wrestling. It's late. I've been celebrating. And he will be facing Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship on Wednesday Night Dynamite.
First, let me just say, Jay Lethal is an incredible wrestler. Jay Lethal is an entertaining wrestler, and he's going to bring a lot to AEW. After that, as big as it is just to see Jay Lethal, because he's Jay Lethal, this is huge because this is the first real example of a Ring of Honor talent moving on to another company post the mass release that happened. And Jay Lethal is, to many people, Mr. Ring of Honor. For at least a decade, that man carried the Ring of Honor flag. Proudly, he waved it. And many people said, oh, why don't you go to WWE? Why don't you go to AEW? Why don't you do this? And he kept signing with Ring of Honor. And he is now the first person post this new era to sign somewhere else. And I'm blown away. It feels like the end of an era. It's exciting now because now that the first man has done it, who else is going to go where? Who's going to go to WWE? Who's going to go to Ring of Honor? Who's going to go to Impact? It's big. And he's going to have a great match against Sammy because Jay is a great wrestler. And I'm very excited. From a wrestling standpoint, this is big. So I'm a little speechless.
My first real exposure to Jay Lethal was in the BTE vlogs, obviously, when they were starting to build up to All In.
Yep.
When they're doing the tap him on the shoulder and he becomes Black Machismo again, and they tap him again, he snaps back into Jay Lethal.
Absolutely.
And then obviously, like I said before, the Ric Flair promo, which is still my favorite promo of all time. But leading up to All In and seeing that match, that's my Jay Lethal experience. So being able to see him now in All Elite Wrestling, I'm really excited to see what he can still do. Like, I don't know.
He's young. He's still young. I don't
know how old he is.
He's in his 30s. He's in like his mid 30s.
But he's been around the block. And
he started really young, and it's why it's like I know his ceiling is still pretty high. Like I'm not saying, hey, like he's 36 years old. He's younger than Kenny. He's younger than a lot of he's younger than a lot of their main event talent. And I'm not saying, hey, throw him in the main event title scene next Friday after his match with Sammy, but you you have a built-in main eventer here, and you just need to introduce him to a larger audience.
Yeah. I would hope he doesn't beat Sammy off the bat.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I think it's a bigger feather in Sammy's cap than anything else, but I do want big things for Jay as well.
Yeah. And it's definitely a decent thing where, considering he is now all elite, like he is signed, he's going to be there. Like you get that loss out of the way to a champion, like, so it's a very, very credible loss, and then he can go on a decent run and go do something good. So I'm fucking here for it. Like, I'm very excited. Yep. This man's going to have a great future in AEW. And all we need now is, a certain guy who can help Aubrey with cheaters.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice idea.
Very evil.
Yes, very evil idea.
I did see he showed up to AEW headquarters, but no one was there. Tony Elite was not there.
We could get into specifics about a lot of guys and a lot of scenarios, but at the end of the day, and I hope you agree on this, it's just a very exciting time to be a wrestling fan again. It's a very fun time to be a wrestling fan again. And this is 2 really strong AEW pay-per-views in a row. And I have a feeling there are still more surprises to come and a lot more good storytelling to come.
I will say too, like, I know we had Lethal and Ishii's going to show up. This was a very, very strong pay-per-view. And especially after the last one, without any huge reveals too.
I agree.
This was a very strong pay-per-view on the back of its wrestling and its storytelling, which
Absolutely.
I think is a very big deal. There were no big, shock factor or like, swerves or big awe moments. I mean, obviously there were big awe moments, but like it wasn't built on the moment away an AEW pay-per-view, or excuse me, a WWE pay-per-view would be. It was built on the back of the wrestling and the storytelling. And I think that's what AEW is here for. And I think that's what they do best. And I think the fact that they were able to tell or put on such a good pay-per-view on the backs of that is a testament to how good this company is.
Absolutely. And we need to acknowledge, I don't think we said it earlier, this is the first AEW pay-per-view to be main evented by 2 guys that aren't former WWE guys.
Yeah. I saw that today too.
I mean, I'm not going to say Kenny is an AEW homegrown talent, because obviously not. Same for Hangman. But these are 2 guys who were never in WWE, and they are the backbone of AEW, and they delivered a great match and told an excellent story.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget, kids, it is all elite wrestling. It is still built on the, originally built on the elite, and eventually the 4 pillars will be main eventing these shows in the future. But for now, it is all elite wrestling, and this show is built on the backs of the elite. And most importantly, right now, one Hangman Adam Page. So on that note, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all very much enjoyed this and Full Gear. Be sure to check us out over on our socials. We will put them in the description because I am way too exhausted to remember all of them.
Or don't, because I don't want to do a wrap. I really don't want to. So,
well, that was the, whole like and subscribe thing. Because if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and we get to 100, or when we get to 100 subscribers, James will do a wrap. And
you don't have to, guys. It's cool.
I'll write it for you. Don't worry. Or I'll have my brother write it for you. My brother can rap. Randy D. Right. He can spit bars. Shouts to Randy.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you. Like I said, I hope you very much enjoyed this show and Full Gear. Adios.